If you like this video, please go ahead and consider hitting that like button, subscribe if you have not already, and please, by all means, share this video. Hello everybody, welcome back to another Farming Simulator 22 map first impressions video. Today we're going to take a look at Újrét. At least that's my butchering of the Google Translate
Újrét
for this particular map. Now, in addition to the map, this video is brought to you by Jimmy Anderson and Scooter's Workbench. Thank you for being farm barons. So the Újrét map can be found over at the farmingsimulator.com website or the in-game downloadable content menu. And as of the 1.0 release, this map is available for all platforms. Let me read you some of the description. Welcome to a fictional village located in Hungary. Become a local farm manager and raise cows, chickens in large quantities, or just start a farm in your backyard and enjoy the homestead farmer life. Grow grapes on steep hillsides, or just tend to the apple orchard. There are hundreds of opportunities on this map. This map includes 40 fields, 2 farms, 1 bigger and 1 small homestead, 2 forest areas, 4 production points, 3 sell points. We have a grape vineyard. We also have an apple orchard. We have apple juice production, Hungarian license plates. We have the Halt Belarun game cartridge collectibles. This map does include support for the manure system, the mud system on PC, and he has fine-tuned the color grading. Now, this map does have one required mod in the Lizard Vehicle Shelters by Mr. Hector. Let's go ahead and load into the map. Now, in addition to the required mod, we are going to use the mods we typically use when we look at maps. They are additional field info, additional game settings, animal food overview, field lease, field calculator, precision farming, and straw harvest. If you load this map up in farm manager mode or start from scratch, you will find that the starting farms are built out kind of like you see here in new farm mode. In fact, only a part of these farms are customizable. So in farm manager mode or start from scratch, what you find are the buildings that you can actually sell are missing from the map. The buildings that are permanently a part of the map are still going to be present. In addition, you do have starting machinery in all game modes. And then lastly, of course, your bank balance will vary depending on those alternate game modes. With respect to low-powered systems, I had 0 issues whatsoever in maintaining a solid 60 frames per second wherever I was on this map with my test system, which is using AMD integrated graphics. Let's go ahead and take a look at our PDA. Now, this is a smaller than standard size map. I would probably put it at maybe approximately 1/4 the size of a standard map. We do have all the available crops to us in Farm Sim 22 available on this map, including, if you have the premium expansion, our red beets, carrots, and parsnips. If we take a look at our land screen, you can see we start out by owning what I typically call the unbuyable land, which is going to be the town area, the road network, and other such things. In addition, we have Farmland ID 21. That is the homestead farm. We have Farmland ID 2. That is the large industrial farm. Then we also have Farmland ID 3 and 7. There are 2 chicken areas that you can buy at Farmland ID 52 and 53. Then lastly, there is a horse pasture here at Farmland ID 49. Let's go ahead and take a look at our farmland lease screen. This is going to show us all of the bio farmlands, how large those farmlands are, if those farmlands include any field, what fields are included, then lastly, how much is that farmland going to cost us. Taking a look at the field calculator screen, we can now see the sizes of each particular field. As you can see, the field sizes on this map are fairly small, ranging in less than 1 hectare up to approximately 3 hectares in size for the largest field. We do have the standard base game crop counter available to us here on this map. And if we come back up here to our precision farming soil map, we are making use of the French soil map that is a part of the precision farming mod, which technically is the standard base game soil map for precision farming. So let's go ahead and see how that is being applied to these fields. To the north and southeast, you're going to see we do have a little bit of silty clay, but the vast majority of the fields are going to be either loamy sand or a sandy loam mix. Taking a look at our prices screen, we do indeed have the ability to sell most, sadly, but not all of the base game crops that are available to us here in FS22. We do not have the ability to sell sugar beet cut, nor do we have the ability to sell cotton or sugarcane. We do have the ability to sell our animal outputs in eggs, wool, and milk, and our silage, hay, straw, and grass. As we look down through all the base game production items, sadly the story is also continuing in the fact that we do not have the ability to sell planks on this particular map. Nor do we have the ability to buy bulk lime or sell our stones. So if you are playing with stones enabled, you will need to put down your own stone processor. We do have apple juice added to the map as well as apples. With the farm production pack, we do not have the ability to sell any of the washed root crops, nor do we have the ability to sell any of the platinum expansion production items. What we do have the ability to do, of course, is sell the premium expansion production items. If you are playing with pumps and hoses, though, do note that you will not be able to sell your separated manure without putting your own sell point down. You will need to get rid of that by putting it on your fields. And then with respect to our straw harvest, we do have the ability of getting rid of our hay and straw pellets. As far as our starting fleet, we start out with a decent listing of starting machinery, especially given the fact that we own 3 fairly small fields, given the size of this particular map. We do start out with a cow barn, pig pasture, 2 chicken pastures, and the horse pasture, technically usable at the start, although we do not have any animals in any of those pastures. We do have contracts available to us on this map. We do not own any of the production chains that are built in. And lastly, as I said earlier, this map does have the 20 game cartridge collectibles from Hulk by the Rune. Let's go ahead and take a look at our starting fleet. We start out with the New Holland T7 275 medium tractor and the Kloss Axion 800. We have the John Deere 7R 270 and, well, actually we have a pair of John Deere 7R 270 large tractors. We've got the CH 770 New Holland harvester, and for that harvester we have the 25-foot Superflex grain header. We're going to use the Nardi N40 BX header trailer to transport that header around the map. We have the Vertimix 1702 SF double feed mixer, the self-propelled feed mixer for our animals. We have the Rune 4200 self-propelled fertilizer and herbicide sprayer. We have the Manitou MLT 625 75H telehandler. We have our 1986 pickup truck for the Brantner DD 27073/2 XXL dolly trailer. We have the EcoMat plow as well as the Rebel Classic 600T disc harrow. We have the ES Pro 6000 RC seeder, the MKS 8 liquid tanker. For our telehandler, we have a bale fork, and, well, that's going to pretty much wrap it up. With respect to mods and DLCs, this map does not have any custom vehicles or implements. Now, I want to take you real quick into build mode. We do have those required mod sheds that are available to us here in build mode, but that is pretty much going to be the only thing that we have available. You would think maybe we would have access to the custom productions to put those back down, but we do not, nor do we have access to add any more apple orchards to this map. So we are pretty much stuck with the one apple orchard that is already pre-placed. With respect to our ground painting textures, we have a fairly standard listing of those ground textures, and our plants and trees are all fairly standard. Let's take a look here at our homestead. So we have our sleep trigger at the bottom of the stairs. We have our wardrobe trigger at the top. We have a little garage building where our pickup truck is going to be located. We can sell the garage building. We also have the ability to sell our pig area here. It's going to hold 10 pigs. Then we have our food trough and our water trough for those pigs. And then outside the gate, we're going to find our manure heap again for our pigs. And that is this little homestead farm kind of here right at the fringe of town. Now, the larger farm is going to be located right down the street there. So let's just tab over real quick to that larger farm. Let's pull up the PDA and show you where that is again with respect to our homestead right here. And then here we have the large, more industrial farm. Here we have large vehicle shelter. This shelter is going to be permanently a part of the map, as was a lot of the buildings over at the homestead. Do have a maintenance trigger here as well. Nice machine shed. We have some storage sheds here. These sheds are also permanently a part of the map. We have our large grain silo with our dump and fill point. We do have the ability to sell this, and therefore in farm manage mode or start from scratch, this silo system is missing. We do not, as best as I could tell in the build mode, have the ability to put this back down if we are playing in those alternate game modes. So we have our fill point and our dump point there. And then the rest of the farm is going to be across the street. Another large machine shed. We do have 3 pull-through silage bunkers. These can be sold. And a nice storage shed with a fuel tank located right here. Here we have our slurry point. We have our manure heap, and that's going to be for our cows. Very nice large bale shed here. We have a water trigger. And then we're going to have our cow barns. So we're going to hold 300 cows in this building. Now, as far as the food triggers and other associated triggers, well, they are a little trickier. In this first building, we're going to have our icon for our dump point. I believe this is going to be our food trough or our straw trigger. It's not really clearly indicated here, and it would be nice to have some sort of indicator as to what might be going into this location without the player having to basically try and either get an accept or a reject message. Now, in this middle shed, we also then have, well, we have corner markers indicating that this is a trigger to dump something else into. So I would have to say that, well, if this is going to be food, then that's going to be straw. This is straw, that's food. I think it's going to be one or the other. Now, with respect to milk, well, it's not super clearly indicated, and I think I've already made a little bit of a mistake when I said we had a fuel building over here, or a fuel point. I believe this is actually going to be the milk point. So I believe this is where we're going to draw our milk out for those particular cows. So I would like to have seen that maybe be a little bit clearer with respect to where these triggers are. Now I want to jump over here to these areas right here, which are going to be where our chicken coops are going to be located. And it looks like we're going to be able to actually make use of this without actually owning the land. So we can put 1,000 chickens in each chicken coop. So we have our trigger there. We have our food trough here. And then if we go around to the other side of the building, we're going to find our spawn point for our eggs. And then the rest of this facility, well, it's just simply deco and goes along with this chicken coop. Now across the street, we have another chicken coop that is basically the same as this one. Again, we're going to have 1,000 chickens. We have our food, and then on the other side of this building, we're going to have our egg spawn point. Let's get a little altitude and just kind of take a look around the map. This is overall a fairly flat map, although I wouldn't say it's completely flat. In the description, it does talk about the steep hills of the grape orchard, but I'm not really sure if that is going to really be the case. So here we have our 2 chicken coops. We have our town, and then that is going to be where our starting homestead is located. In fact, that is going to be right there. In a frame of reference, we do have the large industrial farm located over there. Now, between the homestead and the farm, we do have a fuel point. And you may have also noticed that we do have some utility towers running through these fields. These power towers, as I call them, they do have collisions. So if you are working with hired help or using Courseplay, well, you will need to tell them to basically work around these, or you will see them working around these automatically, and you'll have to come back and clear them up. In town here, we do have a few sell points. First off, we have a sell point located right here. And then we have the horse pasture located just to the north of that. You can put 5 horses in here. And we have our food and water. We have a grocery store sell point located right here. And we're going to have to come around the back in order to dump there. Then we have another sell point located right here. Sorry, actually, this is our bakery. So this is going to be our bakery. We're going to be able to do bread and cakes. So we have our interactive icon, our dump point, and our pallet spawn point. To the north of the town, we have our vehicle dealer. And we have our dealer trigger here. And we go ahead and spawn in our Mahindra. We've got a fairly decent sized area here for our vehicles to spawn in at, given the overall size of this map and the overall size of these fields. We have our dealer trigger clearly indicated right here. Let's make our way across the north of the map. There we have our large industrial farm. And over here in the northwest corner, this is going to be our grain mill. So this map includes 4 productions built in. We've already talked about the bakery, and we have the grain mill here. We have an orchard and a juice factory. Now the juice factory is basically going to be a grape processor. And in fact, it's also going to make raisins, grape juice, and apple juice as a new production. So we're at dump point. We have our interactive icon and our pallet spawn point for our flour. We make our way down the western side of the map. But we're going to come across our apple orchard. And we're going to have our interactive icon here. We have a water trigger located right there. Our apple pallets are going to spawn here. And then we have our dump point for our apple orchard located right there. Let's go ahead and take a look at our production. So apples are going to require water, and we're going to get apples as a result. Pretty straightforward. We have a train sell point located across the street from the apple orchard. And then further to the south, there we go. We got a custom commuter train. Further to the south, we do then have a decent sized area for grapes that has been set aside here on the map. And then we have our grape or juice factory, I guess I should say. Our grape processor / apple juice factory. So we have our dump point, we have our interactive point, and then we're going to find our pallet spawn point located right there. And that is pretty much this map. Like I said, I wouldn't really say our grapes are on any sort of a steep hill. Maybe I think like how the description described it. But at any rate, we do have a fairly large area here for grapes. If you haven't gotten into grapes, then maybe this might be a pretty good area to get into. A pretty nice map to play, because we can buy our grapes fairly economical here compared to what it actually costs in order to place them down. Now, with respect to scoring, we are going to be giving the map a full point with respect to production being built in or areas set aside for such, because we have 4 productions built in. Again, the bakery, the orchard, juice factory, and the flour mill. With respect to the ability to sell all of our basic crops, animal outputs, and productions, we are going to be taking a little bit of points off because we do not have the ability to sell cotton, sugarcane, planks, and then also we are lacking the ability to buy a bulk lime, although we do not deduct points for that. We also do not have the ability to sell stones, so if you are playing with stones enabled, you will need to put something down. And if you are playing with pumps and hoses, you will need to use your separated manure in another way as opposed to simply selling it. With respect to farm customization, we're going to give the map half a point there because, well, there are just so many things at both this farm, this little homestead area, that are not sellable, like the farmhouse, and this shed over here behind the garage, this shed in front of, or the corn crib, I guess you could say, in between the house and the pig area. A lot of these deco elements. The fencing is all going to remain. The 2 chicken coops, we can sell the 4 chicken houses, but the deco is going to remain around those areas. And there's a fair bit of things that will remain here at the larger industrial farm. With respect to buildings where properly are using the new texturing technique, we're going to be taking a quarter point off there. We do have a few buildings with flat textures. Does that really affect your overall gameplay? Probably not, but I am going to denote that there. And trigger interactive areas clearly marked. We're going to take a quarter point off there as well, because I do feel that I should have a little bit better grasp as to where these triggers are on the cow area without simply trial and error. That's going to give this map a score of 3.75. This is a very nice little map. Don't let the score affect your decision with respect to possibly playing on this map. I think it's ideal for anyone looking to play on a smaller map with small to medium-sized machinery, and maybe someone that really just does not have a large time investment to put into maps with larger fields. I'd like to know what your comments are down in the comments below. And until next time, happy farming.